Hi, friends, evolving guys. Welcome back to the channel. Thanks for following along with our collection journey. So, if you watched the video on Monday, we opened our first booster box of Stellar Crown. We are, yes, doing a master set challenge of the new set, Stellar Crown, which released on September 13th. So, I'm a little bit late in getting these videos up, but that's okay. We have a little bit of time until the next set releases in November. And I don't think we're going to have to open quite as much of this set to be able to have our master set complete. So anyway, we opened the first booster box on the channel on Monday's video, and now this video is talking about what we pulled. We did a little bit of tallying. This shouldn't take too long today, so we will see. But I just wanted to again introduce the idea that we have done master set challenges since Temporal Forces. So we did one for Temporal Forces, we did one for Twilight Masquerade, and with Temporal Forces, we opened an entire booster box case, so 6 booster boxes. We scaled that back a little bit with Twilight Masquerade, realizing that after a certain point, we're really just chasing chase cards, and it doesn't make sense to open that many packs, even if we're wanting a master set. So with Twilight Masquerade, we scaled back. We did the equivalent of about 4 booster boxes, but even then it seemed like perhaps that was more than was needed, and all of this is in the spirit of an experiment to figure out what is the best way to build a master set, both that kind of maximizes our value, but that also we still want some fun cost in there. As Danny Phantom talks about, we want to be able to enjoy opening packs. So Stellar Crown is a smaller set, for one thing, which we'll talk more about in a second. But with Stellar Crown, I decided to scale it back even further. So I purchased 2 booster boxes of Stellar Crown, one of which we've already opened. We have one that will open next week on the channel. And then I would still like to open all the main series set products because I do collect the Black Star promos. So even though those are not very expensive to buy in the secondary market, especially if you just wait a couple weeks, still it's kind of an excuse if we open one of each 3-pack blister, one of each single pack blister, and then an ETB. We have a Pokemon Center ETB, so we'll get both of the promo cards, the Pokemon Center exclusive stamped promo, and then the regular variant of that promo card. So if we open all that, we get the Black Star promos that we want, and it also gives us some additional packs of Stellar Crown to open in our hunt for the master set. And then for me personally, I do collect they are part of the Black Star promo series, the Stellar Crown stamped promo cards that come in the build and battle kits. In the past, I've liked to purchase an entire build and battle display. So I have one, I can open all 10 of these boxes. It gives you 40 more packs of the set. And then you also get, in my case, I really am wanting at least one of each, or I want 2 of each of the Stellar Crown stamp promos, one to take to unpack and to put in my binder, and then one I actually like to keep those sealed. So in any case, I think this is the plan, that we would open 2 booster boxes plus one of each of the products plus a build and battle display. Those aren't available quite yet, or they will be available soon, but usually if you wait a little bit, the price on those will come down. So that is our plan. We're opening less packs, and we'll see how that goes as far as building our master set. So Stellar Crown, as I mentioned, it's a much smaller set than we've seen in the last 2 main series sets. So it's only 175 total cards. You can see the breakdown here: 71 commons, 39 uncommons, 15 regular rares, 14 double rares, 13 illustration rares, 11 ultra rares, 6 special illustration rares, just 3 hyper rares, and 3 A-spec cards. The number of common and uncommon cards is less in this set. The regular rares and double rares is actually pretty similar with past sets. And then you also have a reduction in the illustration rares, ultra rares, and SIRs and hyper rares. So that's where some of the reduction comes. This card is like roughly 50 cards smaller than the last 2 main series sets. And so you'll see when we look at our final tallies that this really matters for our master set challenge and the things that we opened, what we pulled from this first booster box. So what did we pull in the first booster box? Again, if you want to watch me actually open the packs, you can go back to Monday's video, because I know some people just, that don't follow the hobby too closely or are less interested in these videos where we tally things up. They just want to see packs being opened. So that video is posted. But this is what we pulled. We had 14 hits, which again is very consistent with the last 2 main series sets. We were pulling, really, it's been very consistent between 13 and 16 hits, counting A-specs as hits. So that's 13 to 16 hits per booster box. That is really consistent. And the breakdown is also really consistent with what we've seen with Temporal Forces and Twilight Masquerade, at least in our experience. I know that some people who do a lot more packs, they have different theories about hit rates, but And it might vary for the more exclusive cards. As you can see, we did not pull a special illustration rare or a hyper rare. We pulled 6 double rares, and that seems like almost clockwork. I mean, I feel like more often than not, we are pulling 6 double rares from a booster box. So about, not quite half our hits are double rares. So of course that waters down the value, although there have been some double rares in recent sets that have some value. So, if you pull one of those, that helps the Pheasantipity EX and Shrouded Fable, although that's not a main series set, for example. So we had 6 double rares. We had 2 A specs. There's only 3 in the set, so we've pulled 2 of the 3 A specs. None of the 3 A specs in this set are that desired. All of them are relatively cheap already, just $1 or so. And again, very consistent, I think, to pull, between 2 and 4 special illustration, or 2 and 4 illustration rares, and 2 and 4 ultra rares. I see there's a typo in illustration there, but that's fine. Anyway, between 2 and 4 illustration rares and between 2 and 4 ultra rares, in this case, 3 of each. We got 3 illustration rares and 3 ultra rares. And like I said, we did not pull either a hyper rare or special illustration rare. And that really, even in our past set experiences with Temporal Forces and Twilight Masquerade, that really is kind of the make or break, right? I mean, I think we found that you roughly are getting 1 special illustration rare for every 2 booster boxes, and you're getting maybe 1 hyper rare. They're actually a little harder to pull, but if you're lucky, you're getting 1 hyper rare for every about 2 booster boxes. So we didn't pull either one. So this booster box, in a sense, is disappointing because everything else was kind of as expected. And then you're just really hoping, get your fingers crossed, that you pull one of those more valuable cards. The hyper rare is not necessarily as valuable monetarily, but harder to pull. And then again, what you're really hoping, I think, with these packs is that you're getting one of the special illustration rares. But even in the case of this set, there's really only 1 illustration rare that's much of a chase card, and everything else in this set is already under $50. So not that hard necessarily to pick up as a single card. If you want to break it down, what we got in our first 36 packs by rarity, and this matters to us because we're trying to get a master set, you can see that. And this is where I think the smaller set really does come into play. So the good news after 36 packs is that we're actually a long way toward our master set. We pulled all the commons, all the uncommons, all the regular rares. So we actually pulled all of those. That's pretty unusual for 1 booster box. I think with these larger sets, Temporal Forces and Twilight Masquerade, we were lagging a bit behind in those areas. And again, they're not valuable cards and they're not hard to find, but you just had to open, because there are just more cards in the set, you just had to open more packs to get all the commons, uncommons, and regular rares. But in this case, after just a single booster box, we have all of those. We also have the 6 double rares, again, very consistent, I think, with recent sets, that you're pulling about 6 double rares per booster box. But there's 14 of those, so we're almost halfway to the double rares. And then you can see that, again, very consistent, that we pulled 3 illustration rares and 3 ultra rares, but because the overall number of those cards is less in this set, 13 and 11 respectively, you can see that, we're already like roughly a quarter of the way to completing the ultra rares and the illustration rares. And then again, the big kind of zeros that we got in the SIRs and the hyper rares, but there's only 9 of those cards altogether. And again, only one of them is over $50 right now. That's, and it's actually over 100, but otherwise everything in this set is under 50. So another reason why with this set, it probably makes sense not to open a ton of packs and really just to pivot pretty quickly to buying the singles that we need, especially because with this first booster box, we completed all the commons, uncommons, and regular rares. We did pull 2 of the 3 A specs. Another thing we chase in our master set is the reverse holo cards. We want to get all of those. We pulled about half of those, as you can see, and that, that's, I was kind of hoping for more, but actually we only pulled 1 duplicate. It's kind of amazing. We opened 36 packs and only 1 duplicate reverse holo. So every reverse holo that we pulled went right into the master set, and it works out to about half of the reverse holos that we need. So that's the good news about this set, that I think it's going to be really relatively easy to master this set. It's a smaller set. It's not going to take as many packs. It hasn't taken as many packs to get all the low-hanging fruit. And then, again, most of the cards aren't that expensive. And so we are going to open more packs just for the sake of the experiment. But I think with this set, you could almost stop after 1 booster box and just pivot to buying singles because we already have kind of all the low-hanging fruit stuff. And then after opening a booster box, we had the fun of opening a box. And now we would really probably make sense to pivot, although we're going to keep opening some stuff. I think the bad news about our booster box we already talked about is that we did not pull a lot of value from this box. The most valuable card we pulled was the Zera Aura illustration rare, which is only around $7. Everything else, we pulled a handful of other cards that in the $5 to $6 We pulled one card in the $6 range, the Crispin Ultra Rare. We pulled the Briar Ultra Rare, again around $6. And then from there, it drops even down to the Cinderace, and you're talking a few cards around the $3 range, and everything else is basically bulk. And again, we need those cards for our master set, but it's a little disappointing as far as a value proposition, and we'll talk more about the overall value that we got from this set in just a second. As far as pull rates, again, I know it's not super reliable to calculate pull rates just based on one booster box, but again, most people aren't opening, tons of booster boxes or thousands of packs. So I think our experience can be hopefully instructive for you all as you open packs. I think for us, and these figures, these pull rates, even though it's just one booster box, these are really consistent with our past experience when we've opened more packs of the previous two sets. And so you can see that, after 36 packs, your 1 in 6 likelihood of pulling a double rare, about a 1 in 18, or basically two A specs per booster box. So that works out to 1 in every 18 packs, you'll get an A spec. About 1 in every 12 packs, an illustration rare or an ultra rare. And then again, so far we haven't pulled a special illustration or a hyper rare, but our experience would say that probably roughly every 2 booster boxes, which would be the equivalent of about 72 packs, is when you would expect to pull one of those. So I think this data is very consistent with our past experience. So where do we stand after just 36 packs? You can see that actually this little graphic that comes from the Collector app, I plugged in all the stuff we pulled, including the reverse holos, and we're at 80% already, which is pretty crazy. Just for comparison's sake, I looked back at after our first booster box of Temporal Forces, we had pulled only 68% of the master set. And after our first booster box of Twilight Masquerade, only 58% of the master set after our first 36 packs. And so we're already at 80% with Stellar Crown, which again, I think is just mainly a function of the fact that it's such a smaller set. It's roughly 50 cards smaller than those previous two sets. And so it just makes sense that after one booster box, we're already 80% of the way there. If you add in, but the downside, the good news is we're really close to master set after just 36 packs, or we're much closer than we were with the past sets. But again, the bad news is that even when you add in all the commons, uncommons, and reverse holos and regular rares that we pulled, the value of what we pulled out of the first booster box is still under $50. It's a booster box. We paid $105 for the booster box. So we're really at the net negative here, which I know there's a fun cost built in, but I would expect, especially with the first booster box, because every card we pull can go into the master set, that the value might be a little stronger. But just because the specialty cards we pulled in this set were not very valuable, again, the most valuable specialty card we pulled in the entire box was $7. That really hurts the overall value of what we pulled from Stellar Crown booster box number 1. The other thing is, just if you add in the reverse holos, which we're trying to chase, it actually is funny, at least if I'm correct in my calculations, if I counted properly, that there's 300 total cards in the set. If you start with 183 main series cards, actually it's a little less than that, because there's 175 cards, and then in the Collector app they add some of the variants, like the Cosmos Holos and things like that. But in any case, there's 175 cards, and then you add in the reverse holos, you get, so the numbers may be a little bit off, but it's roughly around 300 cards if you add in all the reverses. And so right now we're about 2/3 of the way there. And again, that's really strong compared to the past sets, because the past sets were much larger. And so again, I think overall my impression of Stellar Crown after opening one booster box is that mastering the set is not going to be too much of a problem. And probably, frankly, we should just stop opening packs now and pivot to buying singles, although we do have some more packs that we're going to open on the channel. The bad news is that, our value isn't great so far, and it's probably not going to get better, because there's really only one chase card in the pack. And unless we pull that card, I think we're probably going to be in a net negative for any future booster boxes or other products that we open. The fingers crossed that we pull there are some other cards of some value. Again, nothing more than $50, but of course, if you pull a card or two that's in that $20 to $50 range, of which there are in this set, that would certainly help our value. So again, just to show you overall kind of where we're at, again, we've opened 36 packs. I didn't fill in the percentage, but as we just saw in the past one, if you're just looking at the main series set, the 175 cards, we're at 80%. And so we'll add another booster box. We'll add those additional products. We'll maybe add the build and battle display that we'll open on the channel, just to continue to track our progress toward master set. But that's where we are so far. Again, I think overall the impression is Stellar Crown. It's fun to open. I mean, it's always fun to open any packs. There are some playable cards that are affecting the meta to some degree. And I think it's going to be a pretty easy set to master. And we are going to still open some packs, even though we probably should pivot to singles soon. So anyway, thanks for following along with our collection journey, and look for more videos soon.